everybody, it is March the 10th, and today I have some very exciting news to go over. Potentially one of the most exciting SPAC plays that I have seen. Now, Rocket Lab is an end-to-end space company and global leader in launch to become publicly traded through a SPAC called Vector Acquisition Corp, ticker VACQ on the NASDAQ. Now, this news came out on the 25th of last month, and it has been about a week or so, and truly I don't think that it has gotten the exposure that it should have gotten. I honestly just can't contain my excitement. I really have been wanting to talk about this. I wanted to let the SPAC settle down a little bit so that I could gather my thoughts and present you guys with the information that I've gathered, my thoughts and opinions of where this is going. I think that the most exciting thing about Rocket Lab going public is that the market hasn't really had a way to invest in an actual operatable space company yet. Everybody loves SpaceX and maybe NASA, but you can't invest in it. Elon wants to keep SpaceX private so that he has control over the valuation of the company. NASA is a government-run company. All the other space companies are basically government-run. So nobody has really had exposure to invest in any of these space companies that are actually launching the rockets that we see going up all the time now. Yes, there are a few companies like Virgin Galactic who are trying to launch things into space. I mean, they're going for more of a space tourism niche. But even that niche hasn't necessarily been working out very well. I watched that SPAC roll out in 2019. It started at $10, dropped to $7 for a couple weeks, consolidated, and then it made a massive run up all the way to $30 to $40. I believe that something similar is going to happen with Rocket Lab. The same similarities being that it will drop and or consolidate for the first few weeks as people learn about it. But there's one massive difference between the two. And that is that Rocket Lab is actually flying rockets already. They don't have a prototype. They have an operatable rocket. That rocket is actually the second most launched rocket in the United States of America. Okay, they have already ran 18 launches to space, including 97 satellites delivered to orbit. 97 satellites already delivered to orbit. All right, this is the second most frequently launched rocket in all of US. That's crazy. Not only that, but they have 3 launch pads built, 2 factories built. They 3D print a lot of their components. They 3D print their engines. They've actually manufactured over 180 engines printed. I'm smart enough to realize that Rocket Lab is leaps and bounds ahead of companies like Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic currently has a market capitalization of $7.2 billion. It had recently ran up to $10 billion, and they haven't even had a successful paying flight yet. Yes, they have taken up a few of their test pilots, and that's great. Like, I'm not trying to trash talk Virgin Galactic. I'm simply trying to compare where the market values space companies because we have so few, and kind of figure out where Vector or Rocket Lab is heading. Because Rocket Lab is leaps and bounds ahead. They not only have launched 97 satellites, but they also have 3 interplanetary missions planned with NASA, including the Moon, Mars, and Venus. So we all know the Wall Street bettors like to talk about stocks going to the moon. Well, this company will literally go to the moon. So, like, when that happens, what do you think is going to happen online? Do you think people will start to notice them? Do you think it will maintain its $6 billion valuation, which it currently is projected to have once it merges in the end of the next quarter? I don't think so. I honestly think that this could go to $50 billion in as close as a year. Every single time that another launch happens, more and more attention is going to be drawn to the stock. More and more attention is going to be drawn to the fact that the market cap is similar to companies that haven't even had a successful flight yet. So this is massive. They're nowhere near as big as SpaceX, but there's going to be a lot of room in this industry. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that the space industry is going to expand exponentially, much like every other sector has in history, much like the EV sector has expanded exponentially. It's not just Tesla now. Oh, there's NIO and there's GM and Ford is getting in, and Volkswagen is getting in, and Jaguar is going all electric, and Porsche is making their there's so many different companies that jump on board. Space is the next big industry. It just makes sense. Finally, us investors have a chance to invest in these companies. For $6 billion? Like, $6 billion is not a lot when you look at some of these stocks. Like, Tesla got up to $800 billion. The crazy overvaluation that this market likes to give to high-tech plays, I feel like that this company isn't even known about yet. I feel like that the people who know about this company, they're all super excited. but we don't necessarily have enough money to move it yet. Once the hedge funds start paying attention and the rich people start paying attention to this company, it's going to absolutely blow the roof off. Okay, so this company's been around for 6 years. In 2014, they raised their first venture capital. In 2018, they had their first flight to orbit. That is an insanely short window of time. Since 2018, they have built a factory to support 1 rocket per week of production. They had a US site built, a successful reuse mission, which we talked about with the helicopter. They're the 4th most frequent launcher in the world, 2019 and 2020. They have scheduled missions to the moon in 2021. They're going to be launching a satellite for NASA. They're going to Venus in 2023, Mars in 2024. So let's go over the main target for Rocket Lab's business. They're going to become a third-party launcher for people who are launching satellites. So a lot of the satellites that they've been launching, whether they be military or telecommunications, it's going to continue to grow, much like SpaceX is launching Starlink's constellation. Jeff Bezos has already talked about him wanting to create his own constellation. And I'm sure that all of these other telecommunication companies, they're either going to be left behind or they're going to have to join the race. And there's going to be a lot of satellites that are going to be needing to be launched very, very quickly. There's only a few companies that you can go to really launch a satellite, and Rocket Lab is going to be one of those main competitors next to SpaceX. SpaceX is mainly prioritizing their own constellation to begin with, so it's good that there's more people that are going to be delving into this field. So Rocket Lab delivers the first dedicated ride to orbit for small satellites, providing customers control over launch schedule and enabling tailored orbits that cannot be matched by large rocket rideshare. So large rocket rideshare means that you're pooling your satellite in with a bunch of other people's satellites, and it gets launched up. Okay, well, you want your satellite to be over here, not over here, and then you have to figure out how to get it from there to there. So you're just paying for the ride up. Rocket Lab is going to deliver your satellite directly to where you need it to go. So you want it to be sitting over a certain city in the States, they're going to deliver it directly there, and that's no problem. It's going to be a lot cheaper than booking it on a large payload and then getting somebody else to take it there. And at the end of the day, I'm just super excited about this company. The amount of progress that they've been able to make with the amount of capital that they've raised. It says here that they've only raised $275 million to date. $275 million, and they've done all of this. They've had 16 successful launches, 97 satellites delivered. They have all these launch sites and manufacturing facilities. So once this merger goes through, they're going to be getting $750 million. If they did all of this with $275 million, imagine what they could do with $750 and how much exponential increase in productivity and revenues we could expect to see in the future. That is why I'm so super excited about this SPAC. Yes, it's a little bit speculative at the current price and time, but I mean, I'm definitely going to be buying shares, and if it dips below $10, I will be doubling or maybe even tripling down. That is my current play. I've already started investing at around $12.30 per share, and I'm going to wait and see what happens. If it starts to go up, I'll probably add a little bit more. If it starts to go down, I'll probably add a little bit more. At the end of the day, I'm going to add more regardless because I love this company. They actually have a launch in 10 days. They're sending up a satellite for BlackBerry. So that, I believe, will also be great exposure for their stock. As I said, it's a merger, so it's still not technically Rocket Lab yet. But if you invest in ticker VACQ on the NASDAQ, you can get in early on this company. Once again, their production facilities are capable of producing a rocket every single week. That is huge. That is huge. Leaps and bounds ahead of where other companies are sitting right now. The first launch complex is in New Zealand. The second one is in Virginia, United States. So the next step that they're going to be doing with the $750 million is they're going to be funding their next rocket, which is going to be called Neutron. Now, their smaller rocket is called Electron. Pretty funny names there. They've got the whole atom going on. So Proton soon come. So Neutron is going to be tailored for commercial and constellation launches. It's going to be highly disruptive by leveraging lower costs, and it's going to have a direct alternative to SpaceX's Falcon 9. I love SpaceX. I wish I could invest if I could, but there needs to be competition. A healthy market is a competitive one. Not only will Neutron be able to deliver masses of satellites, but it's also going to be capable of human spaceflight, crew resupply missions to the ISS. That's very exciting. They're expecting that the development program is going to be about $200 million. Please subscribe if you enjoyed. It would mean the world to me. And until next time, I'll see you next video.